Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Dailies on Echo Television International, where we keep you up to date with what is happening from our Nigerian newspaper. I am Sela Elisha Dashome. Rachel Tanza is my co-host as usual. Good morning,
Morning,
Rachel.
Sela.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm great, thank you. How's the weekend?
It was fine.
Hope you got to rest well.
A little bit.
A little.
Yeah.
A little is more than not resting at all.
Yes.
We're live on Facebook and also on YouTube, so you can do well to drop your comment or your contribution on any story that's of interest to you, because we have quite a number of stories on the papers today, especially with the little drama we had in Adamawa. You know that a lot is happening, so we are hoping to hear what the INEC is going to say today concerning the REC officer that actually announced the result yesterday. These and many other stories is what we'll be keeping you up to date on the papers this morning. So we would like to start with the first paper, which is the New Telegraph newspaper.
On New Telegraph newspaper, income tax gulf 155.58 billion naira from 10 banks. U.S. records $835 million trade deficit with Nigeria. This is on import, and you can find the details on page 17. Ongoing crisis in Sudan, unfortunate, coming from Buhari, calls for negotiation between parties. Still on 10th Senate, Tambuwal, Wamako, Gobir emerge as senators-elect. Again, terrorists sack Southern Kaduna community, kill over 30, more than 40 houses razed. Toxic waste from ethanol plants pollutes water, kills aquatic life in River Benue. You can find the details on page 4, and this is coming from Autumn. The big story on New Telegraph, intrigue as Tinubu's associates in Southwest jostle for ministerial slots, giving the pedigrees of president-elect men from Lagos, Ekiti, Oyo. It's going to be a tough decision. And the details of the big story can be found on page 3. And on fuel subsidy, palliative may gulp more than $800 million, coming from Ahmed. Unions may paralyze aviation over planned demolition of FAAN, NAMA, and CAA offices. Gross earnings, UBA Group posts 47.5% growth as profit hits 61.4 billion naira. At the downside of the paper on Adamawa Guba, anger condemnation as REC announces APC's Binani winner. It's usurpation of power, coming from INEC. PDP wants IGP to arrest, persecute Yunusa Ari. Action depicts shambolic nature of 2023 polls, a statement coming from Atiku. DSS probes alleged attack on personnel. The details can be found on page 2. On supplementary polls, Melaye war veteran with PDP Labour Party Guba ticket in Kogi and Imo. We have a study, father's alcohol consumption affects offspring's brain. The details can be found on page 8, and I believe this is a study that everybody should want to know more about. We have a picture story where we can see the governor of CBN and the Minister of Finance, and that's all the news on New Telegraph.
On this day newspaper, coming from NECA, IMF call for tax increase will spell disaster and provoke capital flight. You can start that story on the front page and continue to read more of that story on page 6. Sanwo-Olu woos investors in America, says Lagos right place for investment. Coming from Fashola, Tinubu's alleged controversial past has been validated sufficiently. This, you can find more of that story on page 49. And from the FG, $800 million. World Bank post-petrol subsidy removal. Facility awaiting National Assembly approval for disbursement, with the rider says 50 million vulnerable Nigerians identified, registered to receive 5,000 naira cash transfer each. Well, we hope those 50 million will actually be able to testify after they being given this 5,000 naira, money. The big story here, we have in new law, Adamawa REC announced fake election result. The writer following the story, INEC void action, summon official to Abuja. There's plot to undermine democracy, provoke violence, says Atiku. No one should take laws into their hand, Fitiri warns. PDP Board of Trustees declare mandate can't be stolen. It's a naked dance of shame, SDP candidate retorts. You can find more of that story on page 6. And we are having another story coming from Buhari. With democracy, institutional powers, Nigeria has achieved a lot. You can find that on page 51. And we have a column where we have state of economy on their minds. We can see the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, the permanent secretary, Federal Minister of Finance, Madam Aliyu Ahmed, and the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, at the just concluded spring meeting of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank in Washington, D.C. recently. And that's all on this day newspaper.
On Leadership newspaper, bandits kill 30 race houses in southern Kaduna. Milai clinches Kogi PDP governorship ticket. We have a fast check was declaration of the winner of Adamawa poll legal. Gunmen kill many villagers in Zagun Katav in Kaduna. And you can find the details on page 2. Aviation unions adamant vow to shut down airports today. Publish your assets now, Serap tells PNB and Osibajo. The details can be found on page 14. The big story on Leadership newspaper again, Adamawa governorship devised electoral solution, INEC suspends process. The writer following that story, REC orders summon to Abuja over declaration of Binani as winner. INEC National Commissioner stripped naked, Atiku PDP Shehu Sani cry foul, Fintiri urges calm. APC's Kara wins KB governorship election. INEC false report on Rivers presidential results says is prejudicial. UBA Group posts 47.5% growth in gross earning. Profit hits 61.4 billion naira. NECA disagrees with IMF over call for increased taxes, and that's all the news on Leadership newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper, starting with the big story still. Binani declaration, Adamawa REC under fire, faces INEC panel today. With the writer following that story, Adamawa APC PDP clash, REC faces 36 months imprisonment. INEC annuls Binani's declaration as governor-elect, says REC sport returning officers power. Atiku Fitiri PDP kick, Adamawa APC hails Binani as supporters jubilate. And then read a little detail of that story so we can get more detail. Opposition parties and non-governmental organizations on Sunday took a sweep at the Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner Hudu Yanusa Ari for sporting the duties of the state governorship election returning officer. The Independent National Electoral Commissioner had at 1 a.m. on Sunday shifted the announcement of the state supplementary election result to 11 a.m. after results from 11 out of the 20 local government areas where reruns were held had been declared. But before 11 a.m., the REC at 9 a.m. came to the state INEC office in Yola, where the results were being collated, and announced the All Progressive Congress candidate, Senator Ashiatu Dinaru, popularly known as Binani, as the winner of the governorship election. Prior to her declaration, Binani was training behind Governor Adamu Fitri of the People's Democratic Party, who had established a margin of lead of 31,249 votes. And there we have the REC action have sparked anger across the country as the PDP and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar called for the immediate arrest of Yunusa Ari. The Punch also learned that the errant REC may face 36 months imprisonment on conviction. The declaration of Binani, which was annulled by the Independent National Electoral Commission, generated tension across Adamawa State on Sunday. So you can continue to read more detail of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Aviation union to ground flight airport today. You can find reasons for that and more of that story on page 29. Nigerians' 96% revenue used to service debt in 2022 coming from the World Bank. Buhari meets governors, EFCC chairman, others in Saudi Arabia. You can find more of that story on page 18. Other stories still on the paper. Lagos, Ondo, Bayelsa lead state in rising inflation. You can find detail of that story on page 30. Flood sweeps 4-year-old away in Lagos. This is really a sad one. We send our condolences to the family. Gunmen abduct Ogun traffic official on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You can find more of that on page 5. And we have some picture story cross-section. We can see the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, with 2 road safety officials. We can also see the President also at Saudi Arabia, where he met with some stakeholders. And that's all of the Punch newspaper.
On Nigerian Tribune, bandits kill 22 in fresh attack in southern Kaduna. Irate youths kill 1, says 64 houses ablaze in Bauchi. NDLEA arrests Lekki businessman over illicit drugs from U.S. Intercepts drug consignment in winter jackets, body lotion at Lagos airport. The details can be found on page 27. Melayu wins PDP Kogi PDP governorship primary. The details can be found on page 2. APC's Idris wins Kebbi governorship election. Tambuwa clinches Sokoto South senatorial seat. And the big story on Nigerian Tribune is INEC voids announcement of Binani. PDP demands arrest of Adamawa Rec. A statement coming from PDP, it is even more absurd that the Adamawa State Rec did not only usurp the powers of the returning officer, but attempted to declare a winner without figures. The action of the Rec is an usurpation of the power of the returning officer and therefore null, void, and of no effect. Consequently, the collation of the result of the supplementary election is suspended forthwith. This is a statement coming from INEC. Here in Adamawa, we are witnesses to a novel practice in election management where a resident electoral commissioner announced the loser of an election as a winner. This is a statement coming from Atiku. And if you want the details of that story, please turn to page 2 of Nigerian Tribune. UBA Groups posts 47.5% growth in gross earning. Profit hits 61.4 billion naira. Tax hike will bring hardship to individuals, businesses. NECA warns. The details can be found on page 7. Court deposes first-class traditional ruler in Ondo 5 years after installation. The details can be found on page 24, and that's all the news on Nigerian Tribune.
On the Vanguard newspaper, let's look at borrowing. OPS reject IMF's tax increase call. Says prescription will kill businesses, worsen poverty. Insists Nigeria doesn't need the $800 million loan for subsidy removal palliatives. You can find that on page 5. And we have Labour Party crisis. NLC seek interpretation of 2 court orders. You can find that story on page 27. The big story, Adamawa Guba poll drama as Rec fight RO over declaration of Binani as winner. INEC notifies Binani's declaration as governor-elect by Adamawa Rec. Adamawa Rec action provocative. Buhari should intervene coming from Fitiri. Fitiri 1, PDP insists dismisses purported declaration of the APC candidate. Demand arrest of Rec. There is plot to undermine democracy, provoke violence in Adamawa. This is coming from Atiku Abubakar. The big story for the Vanguard, rising unemployment. Over 81,000 pension contributors lose job in 2 years. With the rider withdraw 47 billion naira from pension fund to caution impact. Economic shock, Japa syndrome, fueling job losses coming from the pension operators. You can find that story on page 19. And on fuel subsidy, IMF reluctant to interfere with Nigerians' decision, which you can find on page 15. And on supplementary polls, how Tambuwa Wamako won Senate seat in Sokoto. 33 fear killed, scores injured as bandit attack Zango Kataf. You can find that on page 6. And it's becoming a weekly event right now in Kaduna. Each time Rachel on the papers, we see attack in Kaduna. And it breaks my heart, and I ask question, what is happening? Why Zango, Kata? Why always the southern Kaduna? We are not saying that any other part should be attacked, but the same place has been attacked over and over and over. Then it's only expected, normal, that we have security agency being on their tool to protect this place. We keep saying that if there's any state that have the presence of security heavily, is Kaduna State. We are talking about courts across the Navy, courts across Air Force, the military, police academy, and all of that. It's in Kaduna. So we're expecting that we should see more, protection for, residents of this place. But we keep seeing attack in this same place over and over. We saw that over 30 were killed, 40 houses were burned down, and all of that. And you begin to ask questions, what is really happening? So I hope that the governor of Kaduna will really want to live on a clean slate. He should do something, because of course it is your responsibility to protect lives and property. So when we see things not going as it's expected, of course we'll see people, being angry, and people always pointing the finger to the leader, because it's expected that you should be able to do something about it, because you are the chief security officer of your state as it is presently. And then with all of the story we are seeing, violation of powers, especially in Adamawa. I just didn't want to talk about it because we've talked about politics so much, but we cannot rule that out, that it's part of our everyday life, because even in a family we see politics taking place, because for any decision we have families that even have to sit down as a family to decide, and then we see who are the people with the highest vote at the end of the day. And we saw that being played out in Adamawa. Of course we know that the election was declared inconclusive when we had the election, far back in March, when we had the election, in March. And then we can see that things are not really going as expected. We saw violation of the Electoral Act, the electoral power, and the rec. And we just hope, even though INEC, we have seen that there are possibility he might be facing 36 years imprisonment. But then it's not just about pronouncing a judgment, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to correct the system, correct all of this wrongdoing, so we don't see somebody fleeing the scene. There were speculations that came during the Imo State, where we heard that the rec officer there was actually either being bribed, but we saw her saying that she was forced to be bribed, but she didn't take it, and all of that. So we just hope that we really have to correct some of these things that are happening, because when we don't correct it, we'll see that it will now become a norm, a way of living for people, and we see that any election, a rec officer can just do anything. And we remember, we kept, we make emphasis that INEC need to call all of these rec officers to order. We saw even some of the ACOC staff being bribed to actually declare results that were not there. We've seen that even from the paper speculation of Rivers State, whether it was the PDP or the APC that actually won in those states. So we're hoping that we'll actually work and actually hope that people who are being startled with the responsibility should actually do their right job. So today we'll be hoping to hear the fate of the rec officer as he has been summoned in Abuja. So we hope that the right thing will be done, so that at the end of the day we'll see justice, we'll see fairness, and at the end of the day we'll see that things are working as they should be working.
Yes, and I know for Southern Kaduna, we keep saying it here, and we can't overemphasize it. As long as it keeps showing on our papers, we have to keep talking about it, and we cannot keep quiet and without telling the government of Kaduna to do the right thing and to do right by the people of Southern Kaduna, because it looks like it is a continuous event. One village or another, it's being attacked in Southern Kaduna, and it's always Southern Kaduna. Then it means that then something is not being done right for these people, and they are also the people of Kaduna. They demand and they need they deserve every kind of protection. They deserve every help from the government. They are not in another state but in Kaduna. It doesn't matter what their location is, but they deserve every protection for their government, as the governor of Kaduna is not just for one side of Kaduna but another. And in the past months, what we've been seeing on the papers was the governor declaring curfew and all of that, and we've said it here many times, as that's not what Southern Kaduna needs. They need a solution, not curfew. Curfew is temporary. You definitely take off that curfew and life goes on. What happens when even we've seen situations where even under curfew, villages were being attacked? And I keep saying it, the government of Kaduna are intelligent. The governor precisely is an intelligent person, and I believe he knows the way forward on how to do and what to do concerning the people in Southern Kaduna. We're just looking forward to seeing a government that takes care of the people of Southern Kaduna and not just leaving them to the fate of which they can't protect themselves from. And concerning the elections, we are still in the political period in Nigeria. I don't think we can get over it until everything is done and covered. If it's not about a supplementary poll, it is about INEC and the court cases and all of that. So we're still in the period of it. Elections might be over, but we are still in a period where electoral issues are still on the high. And then it tells us the issue in Adamawa just keeps showing us how our system needs to be fixed, because we've had this situation at every level during the presidential poll and the governorship poll. It's not surprising, as far as I'm concerned, to see something like this playing out in Adamawa. But then we're looking forward to the right things being done. Just as you said, let this man be punished and used as an example. The word is scapegoat. Let him be used as an example that nobody should try this again. Let us have the body that is in charge to come in and make sure that this man is called to book, or whoever is this reg that did what he did, that it doesn't happen again, because other states will be having their election. Adamawa just happened to have a supplementary election because of the inconclusive result in March. Yes, other states will be having their election ending of this year. It means we're most likely going to see something like this if it's not being addressed. So it's not just about one man. It's about a whole system. And if the system is not being fixed, we will still see a repetition of something like this when the following elections come. I'm just looking forward to growth and where our system doesn't decay anymore, because our system is decaying because people go scot-free with a lot of things that shouldn't even happen in the first place. And when it happens, people are walking free and as if nothing happened. So I just hope that this is made an example out of, so that others will see, and you know what, INEC is fixing their lapses, because that will be the message that will be passed, and people will have more confidence in INEC, and other states that are waiting for the election can trust that, you know what happened in Adamawa State won't happen again.
Of course, Richard, I believe he's not working alone, so
yes,
it's not just about him, but let's get other people that backed him up to actually go declare result when we've not had every other, the coalition was not over. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, we have UBA's profitability rises by 38.2% to 61.4 billion naira in the first quarter of 2023. You can find that business story on page 21. Olu of Warri decorates Oma Oyewoma as the new Olu boat series. And you can read the writer there that says Ayuri Cake says he returned fake beat and sword. We have a column for sport lovers. Osimhen makes U-turn and says he's happy at Napoli. You can read that sports story on page 30, and that's all on the Vanguard newspaper.
On Daily Sun newspaper, Labour Party crisis deepens as two Guber candidates emerge in Imo. The big story on Daily Sun, striking workers cripple airport operation. All airports grounded as unions begin warning strike today. The details can be found on page 25. Contact dormant account owners before taking their money, shareholders. BCAN urge CBN. APC Idris wins Kebbi Guber poll. Tambuwal Wamako wins Sokoto Senate seat. Federal government awaits legislative approval to disburse $800 million to vulnerable Nigerians. Rivers community deserted over shooting of soldiers. Rifles, uniforms carted away. The details can be found on page 4. Another bloody day in Kaduna. Gunmen killed 22 in southern Kaduna. Government confirms attack. The details can be found on page 4. Tension in Adamawa over Guber results. INEC grills REC who declared APC candidate winner, voids announcement to give final word tomorrow. Confusion shows symbolic nature of 2023 polls, a statement coming from Atiku. At the downside of the paper, IPOP, no threat to 2023 census in Southeast, coming from NPC. The details can be found on page 27. We have a picture story from the right to left. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, with Segun and Akin Ajibola during the 8-day federal prayer of 4 Prince Bola Ajibola in Abeokuta yesterday. And that's all the news on Daily Sun newspaper.
On the Nation newspaper, investors lose 601 billion naira in 4 days. Naira falls amid pressure. You can find that story on page 3. Chidi Amuta got it all wrong on Obi, says Olake. You can find that story on page 2. UBA raised profit to 61.4 billion naira in the first quarter. Jaiz Bank grows profit by 68.5%. You can read those business story on page 16. And we have 3.4 billion debt ex-council chairman. Councillors reject Makandi's payment plan. You can find that story on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. Still on the drama, suspend uproar over REC declaration of Binani with the rider. INEC reject Adamawa REC action to decide governor-elect tomorrow. PDP Atiku orders cry foul. And we have here where we see APC controls Senate with 59 seats, PDP 36, Labour Party 8, NNPP, SDP 2 each, ABGA and YPP 1 each. You can find all of that story on the front page and also page 4. And we have Idris Iskebi governor-elect. So you want to read more of that, you can start on the front page 2 and read more of that on page 4. And we have the supplementary Senate poll winners. You can find the column there, and then all the senators elect on the APC senators elect. You can find that over there too on page 4. Downside, we have 22 feared kill houses raised in fresh attack on southern Kaduna community. You can find more of that story inside the paper. And that's all on the Nation newspaper. But before we move further, Rachel, we've said quite a lot. We'd love to hear from our viewers, so we'd love you to drop your comment on our Facebook and YouTube channel. And also, you can also do well to call us when we're back from the break, because we really love to hear from you. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, it's still the Dailies on Echo Television International. We've seen quite a number of stories on the paper. The drama, the suspend in Adamawa, and also we can see aviation workers actually, threatening strike, which we really not tell very well on our system and also on all that sector. And we have other story where federal government are actually waiting for the approval of $800 million to be given to about 50 million vulnerable Nigerians, giving 5,000 naira each. What do you think about this story? Do you think this is the right way to empower Nigerians? Do you think there's a better way we can do things, not just giving 4,000, 5,000 naira to Nigerians, but then there are better ways we can empower them? We'd love to hear your views about that. I still have Rachel with me in the studio. Thank you, Rachel, for
You're welcome, Sarah.
All right, our phone numbers are displayed on your screen right now, so please do well to call us, so that we would love to hear your inputs. Please do remember to turn down the volume of your TV set when you call us, and also be very civil with your language. And also, you have just 30 seconds to air your views, as other callers are queuing up to also air their views. And let us move further to the National Star newspaper.
Okay, we have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Hello, Sele.
Go on, please, we can hear you.
My name is my sister Rachel. Good morning.
Morning.
Your brother calling from Kaduna. Chairman, honestly, what is happening in Southern Kaduna is an eyesore to the people of Southern Kaduna. It's as if this government came on board to finish Southern Kaduna, especially the Zagwan Katavlaha government and the Katav people that are called Acha. My sisters, I was at the burial yesterday. When you see mass burial, you cry out your heart. Innocent people were killed with no cause. Houses, over 48 houses were burned. 33 people at the spot were killed that were buried yesterday. But what I keep on saying is that the God of providence is that God that will fight for Southern Kaduna and the Tia people. Zago Katav local government and Kajuruha government happens to be two local governments that are always receiving attacks in Southern Kaduna. We don't know what we've done to this government. The APC government and the Nasir El-Rufai-led government in Kaduna State is a government that came against Southern Kaduna. But we know that with time, God in his infinite mercy will reveal all the secret that's happening in Southern Kaduna. We don't have anybody to fight for us, but the God of providence is that God that will fight for Southern Kaduna. The killing, the burning of structures is getting out of hand, but we know our God will hear our cry one day. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shamal. And so even as we pray and we trust and depend on God for a better Nigeria and to fight for the people of Southern Kaduna, we also praying that the government should come to their aid, because God uses people, and it means he has to put the right people in place to fight the cause for those in Southern Kaduna. And I believe that that's what we should play along, that they need a government to fight for them, and that should be our prayer.
Of course, of course.
On National Star newspaper, APC PDP shares Sokoto senatorial seats. 2023 census will count IDPs in Benue, other places. NPC is assuring us. 2 aspirants lay claim. We have a caller.
My name is Prosper.
Hello, good morning.
I said my name is Prosper.
Good morning, Prosper.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, I want to
there with
comment
you.
on the massacre. I really want to sympathize with those that are involved. We are not expecting that at this time people will still be bleeding in terms of bloodshed, innocent people sleeping and being massacred, killed for no just cause. It's quite disheartening and painful, and we just ask that the Lord will grant the family of the bereaved, the fortitude to bear the losses. And I just know one day God will certainly intervene, and justice will be meted out. I know when God intervenes in the matter, it will be very clear. And secondly, I want to, talk about the political landscape. We are not expecting anything less. It's so rather unfortunate that people who had the opportunity and time to add value and to the national unity are rather doing everything possible to make sure that they just have their way. But we know with time that God will chase all of them out, and the right people will occupy the right positions, and the nation Nigeria will continue to walk to the glory of God. Once again, you're doing a good work. God bless you all, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Prosper, for your contribution. Still on National Star newspaper, 2 aspirants lay claim to Imo Labour Party Guber ticket. Dino Milai defines Wike clinches Kogi PDP governorship primary. The details can be found on page 18. The big story, Adamawa supplementary poll. Heads to roll as INEC holds emergency meeting. State Rec Yuhu queried may face disciplinary action. Commission suspends Guber results collation. INEC compromise from within, coming from PDP and Board of Trustee alleges. We have government in exile. IPOB disassociates self from autopilot inauguration. The details can be found on page 7. BVN registrations hit 57 million, and the details can be found on page 14. Herdsmen massacre 20 in southern Kaduna. At the downside of the paper, war against drug trafficking, NDLEA raids Lagos, Ondo, Kaduna, Katsina, and others. Buhari meets APC governors in Macau.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
We can hear you clearly. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. What's
my
your
name is
name? Where are
Maram.
you
I'm
calling
actually calling from Plateau State, Bokos local government.
from? All right, please go on.
Hello.
Can you please turn down the volume of your TV set?
I think we lost that caller. Yes. The few more stories on National Star. Buhari meets APC governors in Makkah. The details can be found on page 9. EFCC begins probe of Abia local government funds. The details can be found on page 10. And we have a picture story. All right.
Hello, good morning. What's your name?
Now, I want to speak on that shoe. Hello?
We are with you. What's your name, please?
Why is it is always, my name is Angel.
All right.
I'm
so
calling
calm
from
down
Oka.
now. Isha, what do you have to say?
Please, why is it always Kaduna? Why is it always Kaduna? They used to kill people in Kaduna always. Why is always Kaduna? And government is not doing anything about that. After all says and done, it will still remain like that. Nothing is happening. They have to do something. This thing of Kaduna, right from when I'm a child, I grew up, I'm hearing about this. Up till now, nothing has been happening. They will just be killing them as if they are animals. And nobody is interfering and nothing has been done about it. Please, we're supposed to rise up and know what to do about it. We can't just continue keeping quiet. After everything, it will just go like that.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you. From all the way from Oka, and you can see someone worried about what is happening. And she said ever since she was a child, and for her to use that comparison, it means it has been a long while, and we keep hearing about Kaduna. I also grew up hearing about Kaduna, so it's not surprising that it has been going on for so long. Sele, we're praying and keeping our fingers crossed that something should be done concerning Southern Kaduna. And that's all the news on National Star.
All right, let's take a look at the first news. Resume Adamawa result collation immediately, Atiku tells INEC. Hello, good morning. What's your name?
Good morning. My name is Ayaya.
All right. Go on, please.
Good morning. My name is Ayaya.
Okay, Ayaya, go on. We're with you.
Please, I want to answer that girl from Katuna.
Okay.
The Katuna issue is from the government. It's from their governor. Because if governor is from another state, they will not accept it. So if from their state, they will accept it. Even though they kill so many souls, they will not do anything. Because one, to kill, they are accepting to kill. So they should come down and still live in Katuna. There's no problem. As far as call is concerned, they will fight for those that stand with him. Okay?
All right. Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. He said he's calling the lead. He's answering because she asked why Kaduna. Yeah, and he's saying, well, she wasn't from Kaduna, though. Let's correct that. She's Angel calling from Oka, so not Kaduna. And he just said it's the government. Yes, we believe that the government can play a vital role. In fact, they have the resources to make sure that Southern Kaduna is safe, and it's expected of them to do the right thing.
You know, when you keep asking why Kaduna, it's not just in Kaduna. Even within the weekend, we had that there was a local government in Plateau State that was attacked. So it's just those stories that make it to people, but the attacks going on secretly. Okay, hello, we have another caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Hello.
I'm with you. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, Sele and Co.
Morning.
The issue of Kaduna has been a long time, and the governor has never ever supported South Kaduna.
That is why all this is happening in Southern Kaduna every time. Why not in Northern Kaduna? I think God has changed the situation. After a new government comes, you will see the changes, and they will all be ashamed. They will not be respected, and their punishment will be great from God. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I know
very
people's concern basically will be they want to hear the governor making more noise. Just the way we had his voice concerning cabals in the APC, we want to hear his voice
And the
on
Naira
the
scarcity.
The Naira
was
scarcity,
very outspoken about
outspoken.
it.
So
Yeah.
I believe these are what the people want to hear, so they know that you actually feel their pain. So we hope that Governor El-Rufai will actually, speak more. I know he's speaking. I won't say he's not speaking. Of course, this is his state. He will talk about it, but we want to hear him talking more.
We want to hear him
That's
very
what
loud about
Nigerians-
it. Yeah,
That's what
we hope.
Nigerians want to hear. Still on the first news, we have Tambua in Sokoto South. Hello, good morning.
Okay, Yakubu from Borno, we can hear you.
Yes, okay.
Go on.
Good morning.
Morning.
What is going on in this country? We fail to understand exactly what these politicians are doing for us. Because I can see that all these things they are doing in Adamawa, attacking people in Kaduna State, is a plan. They are planning their evil against this nation. So they don't want peace in the nation. Now, in order to divert the attention of people to Kaduna, forgetting about the election that is taking place in Adamawa, that's exactly what they are doing. It's a plan. And we know that the governor of Kaduna State, they are the one causing all these problems. We can see what's happening in Adamawa. He was there in Adamawa. Now he's going back to Kaduna to go and cause all those troubles there so that at least he can be able to divert the attention of people on what is going on in the state. So I know exactly all these things that is happening is their plan. And God passed them. No matter what they are doing, a day is coming that they are going to die. They will leave this nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much. Still on first news, we have police arrest cleric for threatening to kill policemen. You can find that story inside the paper. Tambua wins Sokoto South joint 10th Senate. And coming from Adamawa, Binani's declaration as winner, civilian coup, coming from Shehu Sani. The big story, no governor-elect yet in Adamawa, coming from INEC as commission void Binani's declaration. Hello, good morning. Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Can you turn down the volume of your TV set so you can hear me?
Please, I'm Angel calling from Anambra State.
Okay, Angel, go on.
I'm Angel calling from Anambra State. Please, there is something about this Kaduna claim. Why is it? If I say this, it will be as if because I'm a Christian. No. Always Christians. There is nothing they will do in Kaduna that is not Christian, they will be killing. Honestly, since yesterday, I'm hearing this. I'm sharing tears. I know it's not my state and it's not my tribe. But that Christianity, I don't know why it's always Christian. How many Muslims have they ever killed in Kaduna State? All the time, they'll be going after Christians. What have they done to them? Even when there is a governor, there is once a governor that is a Christian, this is how they persuaded him, they bring him down. The Muslim governor that is there should be doing something, but it's just because they like their people more than Christians. Because this thing is just, in fact, that thing is paining me. If I should lament the way I'm feeling, social media will say that maybe I'm siding one side. No. Why is it always Southern Kaduna? Where is the North? Are they not killing them? Whatever they are rising is, they will end up in North, killing the North people like that. Please, they should do something. Governors should do something. But if they know where they will raise this thing so that something will be done. They should stop killing Christians in Kaduna. The Christians are not the only people in Kaduna. Please. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Angel, for that concern, and we hope that the relevant authorities will actually do the right thing.
Yes.
Still on first news, we have on the big story where The commission INEC have actually said no governor-elect in Adamawa, and they said our national commissioners harassed coming from INEC, REC action provocative coming from Governor Fitiri, and then CDD Yaga Africa demand action against REC and others. You can continue to read that. All right, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
I'm calling you from Onitsha.
All right, please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Yeah, good morning to you. I'm Chigozie, I'm calling from. Okay, I'm Chigozie, I'm calling from Onitsha.
All right, Chigozie, we can hear you. Please go
Can
on.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can. Just turn down the volume of your TV set.
Can you hear what I'm saying?
Go on, please.
The problem of Southern Kaduna has been over the years. Not even this APC administration. It has been there before this APC administration. And to me, I believe in Kanu. I've been able to make some inquiry about that very incident or issue. I discovered that religion has a role in that very problem. Yes. The Christians did not have a very good relationship with the Muslims there. And it's part of the thing that they are having, the issue that they are rising there over and over. But I can tell you that Christian can live anywhere, Muslim can live anywhere, and they stay in peace. But the problem there is that the government that comes into power, they did not break their rules. They did not have the interest of the state at heart. That is why those things is happening. Otherwise, both of them are born and brought up in that very state. You are a Muslim, I'm a Christian, it doesn't have any problem. It doesn't change the scenario. You are my brother, I'm your brother. You can go to any religion you decided to. They should make peace between themselves. It's issue of religion. The problem there is issue of religion, no sentiment about it. It's issue of religion. I have said in hotels to confirm that very thing from a certain man I don't even know whether he's a Christian or Muslim. The problem there is religion and nothing again. So if they can tell themselves the truth, that is the only way the problem will end. But if they cannot tell themselves the truth, one thing they should believe is that they are killing their brother. They are not killing an Igbo man, they are not killing an Yoruba man, they are killing themselves. Themselves and only for themselves. So if the federal government is not optimistic, the state government is not optimistic to solve that Southern Kaduna issue, I am telling you they are the one wasting their own self. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Still on First News, we have 6 feared killed during supplementary polls in Kano. You can read more of that on First News. Dino wins Kogi PDP Guber primary election. INEC National Commissioner stripped in Adamawa as DSS probe attack on operative. And the last story, Kebbi Guber poll, INEC declares APC Nasir Idris the winner. You can read more of the story inside the paper, and that's all on First News.
On the Abuja Inquirer, Abuja loses 4 monarchs in 8 months. Health insurance, FCTA demands prompt attention for subscribers. TED Fund earmarks 30 billion naira for 2023 special intervention in 18 institutions. The details can be found on page 10. Sun rolls out product authentication mark to check fake products. CPJ condemns conviction of 2 journalists for alleged defamation. The details can be found on page 13. And the big story on the Abuja Inquirer, Adamawa Guber inside REC's failed coup. REC escaped lynching on easy camp in Yola. Abuja takes over process. APC PDP lead in rerun polls. And that's all the news on the Abuja Inquirer.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Independent. INEC void Adamawa Guber results, summon REC and others to Abuja with the rider. Fitiri says Binani's declaration as winner by REC provocative. PDP demands immediate arrest and persecution of the REC. Stakeholders criticize insurance of AOC to NG Eagle Airlines, with the rider NG Eagle brand names no longer in APCO's custody. You can find that inside the paper. NCAA contradicting own regulations, says the expert. You can read that on page 4. The big story amid global crisis concerns CBN vow improve bank supervision, says IMF approval of tight monetary policy validates its position. Immigration Service boils as Jire lobbies for tenure elongation. Stakeholders write Buhari, ask him to intervene and save NIS. INEC declares Nasiru Idris winner of KB Guber election. Governor Tambuwa wins Sokoto South senatorial election. And on May 29, Serap asked Buhari, Osinbajo and others to publish assets. We saw that on our papers, where they are supposed to declare their assets before leaving the office. Kogi APC primaries, NUJ won. All right, I still go on with the story. Kogi APC primary, NUJ wants politician against misinterpretation of facts. You can find that on page 4. UBA Group posts 47.5% growth in gross earning as profit hits 61.4 billion naira. Other stories here, we have federal government accused of complicity in Obi's detention, with the rider UK refuses to comment on the crisis. Downside, we have Dino Milai cliches, Kogi PDP governorship ticket. You can find out on page 29. We still have the picture story of the CBN governor and also the Minister of Finance during the just concluded MBF meeting in Washington, D.C. And that's all on Daily Independent. I wish we could go further, Rachel, but we are running out of time. So we have to round it up at this moment. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And thank you to all our callers that made this program a very great success. Thank you to our crew members, our producer. Thank you to the general manager and also to the Echo executive. Until we come here again tomorrow, do have a blessed day ahead.